Greetings and welcome to how to create your very first iBook. Hosted by myself, Matt Henshin. I teach history and do technology integration at Harvard Union High School in beautiful South Duxbury, Vermont. So what I'm going to try to do in this brief tutorial is to show the average teacher how to get started using iBooks. I'm not going to necessarily show you how to save your or distribute your books through iTunes, because I think a lot of what teachers do, a lot of what we photocopy and a lot of the material we borrow from other places, a lot of the material we use is borrowed from other places. So what I'm going to do is show you how to distribute an iBook privately and even password protect it. But I'm going to show you all the basics of iBook to create a really nice, highly personalized iBook. So let's see. So the first step is to take a look at the required equipment. If we want to fill up this bookshelf, we want to look at the required equipment. What you're going to need currently as of February 7th, 2012 is a MacBook. Okay, you need a Mac, not a MacBook, but a Mac running Lion, which is the latest operating system they offered, running 7.2 or greater. So if you have Lion, but it's an earlier version, you're going to have to upgrade to 7.2. And I put or greater there because there's currently nothing greater right now, but I'm sure there will be. There's links here on how to buy an upgrade. It's about $30, I think, for an upgrade. Once you do that, you can download the iBooks Author app from the App Store on your MacBook. So that's a free download. That's completely free. You're also, of course, going to need an iPad, and that iPad is going to have to run the latest version of iOS, which is the iOS 5, which takes the iPad into the cloud, and then you're going to have to make sure you do your updates to iBooks so that you have iBooks 2 installed. The iBooks that you're going to be creating with iBooks Author will only work with iBooks 2. So those are some of the basics. Now using iBooks Author. So what I've done is I took a screenshot of the actual help screen from iBooks. The help screen, as with most Mac products, the help is very good. And the sample workflow they give you is to choose a template, add your content, create a glossary if you'd like, preview your book, and then share the book. And that's essentially what I'm going to show you how to do. So I'm going to end this presentation. We're going to come back to sharing your book later, and I'm going to open up iBooks. So I'm going to launch my Launchpad, and there's iBooks Author. Okay, so this is iBooks Author. You get a template chooser. And the first step number 1, is to choose your template. I'm going to show you how to choose a template, but also to modify your template to make it your own. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this classic template. I would encourage everybody to open them all up and take a look and see how they work. Okay, so we've got this classic template, and now we've got our inspector bar here, which I'll just minimize. So as you'll see, it opens up to the chapter 1, and it's just begging for content right now. You can click and add new content. Any of these things, add new content to. Okay, and then here's the glossary, which we can add to later. Table of contents we can add to and change when we're done. And then an introduction media, which is going to be basically a media introduction to the book. And I haven't actually created one of those, so I'm actually going to just for now embed another video there so you can see what that looks like. And then the book title. So here we got the book title. Now this is what's going to show up in the iBook store. This is how it's going to look in that little bookshelf. I'll go back here so you can see in this bookshelf here in iBooks. Let's see. So right there. So this is going to be what your book actually looks like. Okay? And we can modify that. So what I've done is I went to Firefox and I wanted just a black wallpaper. So I googled black background image and I saved this file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually click on this photo and I'm going to delete it. Okay? And now I'm going to grab my black wallpaper and drag it in. Okay, you'll notice it moves over the text. So we want to access the inspector. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the object placement. So you want to click this little third guy in, object placement, and we want to make sure that we unclick object causes wrap and that we keep it floating, doesn't move with text. So now the objects aren't going to wrap around it. Okay, if you do wrap around it, things are going to want to wrap. Okay, we don't want that. The next thing, and we're going right down the line here, the next thing is to actually, this one here, the metrics inspector. We want to unclick this because this constrains the proportions. What that means is, as you make this larger or smaller, it keeps it the same proportions. It's always going to be a square. Okay, we want to be able to stretch this out for this rectangle, so we don't want that to be a square. So we need to unclick this, and then we can carefully drag. Oops. If you screw up anything, you can just Command Z to go back. So we can drag this corner up to where we want it, and the same with this. And you'll notice you're going over all of the text. So then what you want to do is you want to right click, which on a Mac it's 2 fingers on the trackpad and click, and then you want to send it backwards. Okay, and you'll already start to see layers pop up. So there's the other layer, and just keep sending it backwards until you get to the point where you can see all of your elements. Okay, so these are all the elements I want to see. Now, if you want to make, it's always pretty good practice once you're here, if you hadn't deleted, sometimes you can keep the image there, cover over it so you know you're over the entire image, and then go back and delete it. But now we've got a black background. Okay, and what I'm then going to do is I'm going to grab a photo from a folder here, and this book is basically going to be the curriculum for my current history on film class, but I'm going to probably be retitling the class to be media and politics. So I'm going to give the title there, Media and Politics. The slogan of the class, let's see, progress is possible. And I'm going to take some credit here, put my name. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a photo for the front. And I've got a couple photos to choose from. Let's see, what do I want to use? I think we'll do this snazzy cover. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the corner and enlarge it. Bring it right over to the edge. Let's see, make it pretty. Line it up. It'll show you, see these little blue bars, it'll show you when they're perfectly lined. And there you go. There's the front page. Progress is possible, media and politics, my name. Dramatically different from the original template. Looks pretty good. You can modify it even more if you'd like. Now, again, for the intro media, I'm going to drag a video in there. So I've got some videos, some movies, and I will just throw in this film. That format's not supported. I'll talk more about that later. So in the meantime, I will actually show you how to. Yeah, let's see. So let's see. We've got this film. So it only accepts. So when it comes to video, this is important to know. The video that it accepts is only an M4V. So I guess I'm gonna talk a little bit about the video right now, because it only accepts M4V, and I've got a couple different videos. This is a keynote presentation I saved as a movie, so it's saved as in .mov, an FLV, a .FLV, and a .mp4. And you would think that the MP4 would go right in here, but it's not going to. You're going to get a little error message. Okay, so what we need to do is we actually need to convert that to an M4V. And the tool that I use that I highly recommend is called Handbrake. It's a free download for Macs, And you can throw your film in there. So I'm going to start Handbrake right now and show you. This is an invaluable tool. So you're going to simply search for the film, and then click open. It's going to queue it up. And when it's queued, you just simply click start. Okay? So apparently that's done already, which seems a little strange, but since it's going from an MOV to an MP4, it's quite possible. So let's drag that guy in now and see what happens. Yeah, not so good. Okay, so let me try a different video. KV file, let's try that. Sometimes when things happen really fast, it's not necessarily a good sign. So I may have pushed start a little bit too quick before it was actually done processing. So we're going to let that scan and finish. No, we'll go back. Let's see, one more Handbrake. Okay. So we're going to try a different film, empty queue, and Guns, Germs, and Steel, 1 of 3, 1 of 18. So this is a 10-minute clip. It's going to scan. You want to output as an MP4. It's going to be MV4. When that start comes up, you're going to click start. And of course, Murphy's Law is taking effect right now. Handbrake is a wonderful tool. It works 99% of the time. So I'll troubleshoot the M4V issue and see what's happening. But this is how it should work. It should scan it. It should take some time. And after a few minutes, it'll spit out an M4V video. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go to just quickly show you the table of contents, and I'll show you how to change that after. And then the glossary I'll quickly mention at the end of the video. But here is the content. So it starts you out with a chapter and with a section and then an internal page. Okay? And we want to make these pages look unique as well. So I'm actually relatively happy with the way this page looks. You know, I could adjust the fill or the color of the page, but I'm not going to bother with that. But I do want these sections to look different. I want them to align more with the title, with the cover, the sort of black theme. So even though you start with a template, you actually have the opportunity to modify that template. Okay, so I'm going to click, in order to do that, you click View, and you're going to show layouts. Okay, these are the layout options you have. The chapter, a different chapter, a preface layout. You've got your section layout, so this is a section, and then a section text, and then copyright, dedication, forward, and then you've got your pages. So you've got a 1-column, 2-column, 3-column, and blank page templates. Now, these are the templates. So if you want to modify the template, you can actually double-click on that, and you can modify this. And as soon as you modify it, as soon as you change one thing, this little button pops up that says Apply Changes. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, again, I'm going to add a little bit of black to this. So I'm going to, okay, so that's, the video's done. I'm going to add a little bit of black. So I'm going to go back to my folder, and I'm going to drag in, let's see. I'm going to drag in, I've got a black background right here, shiny black metal texture. I'm going to drag that in. Actually, I don't like that. I'm going to drag black wallpaper. Is that the one I wanted? No, background. Okay, the background. So I got this black grid. Okay, and again, I'm going to click Inspector. And you can drive right down through here. It's the third one is going to be the first one you use. Unclick the wrap. Okay. and then you're going to go here and you're going to unconstrain or deconstrain the proportions. And I'm going to drag this down all the way to the bottom of, I'm going to keep, you notice I'm keeping the photo there and I got to look down because okay, I'm dragging that, and then I want to make sure I get right where I want to go here. So I'm dragging this down just perfectly right to where I want to go. Okay? So now we're going to click on that again. We're going to right click on the object and we're going to send it backward. And we're just going to keep sending it backward. You don't want to send it back because if you send it back it'll end up all the way underneath. Okay? So again, I screwed up, so Command Z to bring it back, and then we're going to send it backward and send it backward. Depending on how many layers you got, it could take a while. 10 clicks, 13 clicks, send it backward, send it backward, and eventually you're going to see, there it is, there's the text, and you're going to see the photo soon. Okay, you know you've gone too far, so I'm going to Command Z. Okay, and we're going to add a photo. So let's see, I'm going to choose a photo that I want to be on every chapter by default, unless of course I change it. So what do I want there? There's a picture of, let's see, show all my photos. Let's see, so I got some slideshow photos here. So I'm going to grab this guy, put that there. Okay, we're going to resize that. Have that be the header image. And I'm going to double click this font and I'm going to change the color of the font. So I'm going to click the text guy and we're going to go all the way down here to pure white. And we're going to go here. We're going to go a real light gray. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image and I'm going to give it a frame. So I'm going to click this image again and I'm going to go here, and the stroke is the outline all around the image, and right now there's a line. I'm going to give it a picture frame. I'm going to click here to choose the picture frame I want. You can see different styles, picture frames. I like that one. So what we've just done is modified the template. I'm going to now click Apply Changes. It's going to save those changes, and you will now note that that this is my new section. So if I want to create a new section, I'm going to create a new section. It comes down to my tab. Let's see, I'm going to hide the layouts. It comes down to my tab here as the default with the photo and the font. Now, once you create this template, you can of course change it. You can switch it up. You can add different photos. You can do whatever you want to the template, and you can create multiple section layouts if you'd like. There's lots of things you can do with the section layouts. If at any time you can't click on something, it comes up with a little red line or something like that, and you can't change it. For instance, I want to change this and delete it, and it won't let me change it. You'll see these little X's. And what those X's mean is that's locked. Okay. To unlock it, you want to go to Arrange and Unlock. Okay, and now you can actually move those around and manipulate those objects. So that's how to modify a template. Now we want to add some content. Okay, and you can, by the way, you can do the same thing if you view and show the layouts. You can modify the same thing with your sections. Your chapters you can modify, your pages, you can make it look like you want it to look. Okay, and when you're done, if you really dig that template and you want to use that same template for another book, under File you can Save as Template. Okay, and actually save that template, and that will show up in your list, and you can create new books using that same template, which is pretty groovy. So you want to add some content. So we're going to go back to, first of all, I'm going to hide this layouts. We're going to go back to the intro media, and we are going to see what it looks like when you convert it properly to an MK4. So there's the M4V. So there's a video that's M4V, and we are entering it in, and it's still not going. It says open the file in QuickTime, okay, and export a new file. So let's give that a shot. So open with QuickTime Player, and we're going to try to actually follow these directions. So we've got QuickTime, and we're going to export for web, roots of inequality, put it right on the desktop. What's probably happening is there's probably some sort of special encoder. It only reads a very specific type of video. It's actually a good thing that this is happening because so what it does when in QuickTime, when you export, and remember I clicked all three, you get this folder, and in the folder are three different video types. So there's the M4V, the cellular M4V, the Wi-Fi M4V, the MOV. Okay, I've done this before, and one of these does work. So we'll figure it out right in front of you guys, and you will benefit from my my error. So I believe I used the Wi-Fi. Let's see, it's looking good. All right. So there's the Wi-Fi one, and again, I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done. But that's the Wi-Fi one. Let's see actually what happens with the cellular one. See if it's any smaller. No, it's about the same size. And then the broadband one would probably be the higher resolution that's still in M4V style. So it looks like even after you open it with QuickTime, you're going to have to export it for the web, and that's how you do that. So we've got the intro media, we've changed the title, all right, intro media. Now we're going to add some content. So I've got a pages document opened up here to sort of guide me through the process. And let's see, here's my document. So I'm going to be creating this book for my History on Film / Media and Politics class. So I've got this course description, okay, and I'm going to just copy that text, and I'm not going to call them chapters, I'm going to call them section 1. Goals, let's see, we'll do overview of the course, okay, and I'm going to put this topic in here, and I'm going to of course change this image to something that reflects. Alright, so I'm going to take this image and expand it. Okay. So now if this is a little small, I can always go to the inspector, and I can always change the size, the font size, 13, 14, whatever you may think. Now again, you'll notice that it didn't retain any of the bulleting and formatting, which sometimes happens. So we can click here, and we can go to the inspector, click text, go to list, and we can give it some text. Oops. Well, actually, we'll give it some image bullets, or we could give it text bullets, which are the basic bullets. But we'll go with the text bullets, and then we want a text indent, so we can actually, we're going to go 5 pixels in, or 5 points in, such as that. So we've got an overview, okay? And now we've got this this chapter, and the first thing perhaps is going to be our goals. So let me go back to I'm actually going to pause the video for a moment while I add some more content, just text. Okay, so I've added some more text and a couple of videos, or a couple of photos here. So some goals and assumptions of the course in section 1. And then for section 2, I've added some more, some highlights about global poverty, some statistics, and then the question, what problems do we face? And I'm going to have the kids create a Wordle based on the problems facing each other. And we've already actually done this. So what I'm going to do is I want to embed a photo gallery. So I'm going to show you one of the first widgets. So widgets right here allow you to add photo galleries, media, videos, slideshows, but mostly videos, photo galleries, review questions, keynote presentations, interactive images, 3Ds, and HTML. I'm going to be showing you every one except for the HTML, which for the average teacher is really not that usable at this point. So in order to add a gallery, I'm simply going to click Gallery, and I'm going to add, so I'm going to go here to my Wordles folder, and I'm going to select all of my Wordles, and I'm just going to drag them in. Okay, and now what's going to happen is I'm going to move this, let's see, I'm going to move this gallery. First of all, you can click on the gallery just like any other object, grab the corner, and you can adjust it. And I'm going to move this gallery right down again to the bottom of the page, and we're going to make it kind of long. So we'll move it up here and make it as long as we can and fill up that space. Okay, and that looks a little awkward, so we're going to drag it and center it, and that's perfect. Now in the final video, now you can also choose to show the thumbnails if you'd like, which is pretty cool. We're going to do that, which means of course I need to readjust the way the gallery looks, but the thumbnails are so cool I just wanted to show that to you. Let's see. So apparently when we add the thumbnails, it limits your ability to stretch. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do here to get a little more page time, so I'm going to go to my font size, and then I'm going to move this up a bit, and I'm going to move this up a bit, and now just about get it in there. So beautiful. So that's a photo gallery. Now if people flip through it, they can actually see the photo gallery of the pictures. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more content, pause the video, and I'll get back to you in just a moment.